This is about you. Your soulmate spoke about you today, and something beautiful was said. My beloved child, this message found you for a reason, and if you are hearing these words right now, don't scroll away. Today was not an ordinary day for your soulmate. Something happened that they never expected, and somehow, the conversation turned toward you. At first, they tried to stay quiet, pretending your name no longer carried any emotion. But the heart has a way of revealing what the mind tries to hide. The moment someone mentioned you, their entire expression changed. Even they couldn't explain why their eyes softened and why a peaceful smile appeared without warning. Don't skip, because what they admitted next was something they had never been brave enough to say before. Something huge is waiting for you, and every second of this message is leading toward a beautiful truth. The people around your soulmate noticed the change immediately. One person smiled and asked, "Whenever this person is mentioned, why do you become so different?" Your soulmate stayed silent for a few moments, taking a deep breath as memories quietly filled their heart. Then, with complete honesty, they finally answered. They said, "Some people leave your life, but they never leave your heart. No matter how much time passes, they continue to inspire you to become a better person." Those words surprised everyone listening because they were filled with warmth instead of sadness. In that moment, your soulmate realized they had spent too much time hiding feelings that never truly disappeared. Stay till the end, because this was only the beginning of a much bigger realization that arrived just minutes later. As the conversation ended, your soulmate walked away, but your name continued echoing inside their heart. Every forgotten memory suddenly felt alive again. They remembered your kindness, your patience, your smile, and even the smallest moments that once seemed ordinary but now felt priceless. They quietly admitted to themselves that meeting you was never just another chapter in life, it was a turning point they had never fully appreciated until today. A calm sense of hope replaced every doubt they had been carrying. For the first time in a long while, they stopped asking themselves whether they should move on and started wondering if life was preparing the right moment to bring two paths closer once again. Don't skip, because today's beautiful words were only the first sign. Something huge is waiting for you, and what happens next will be even more unforgettable. My beloved child, the story became even more beautiful after that conversation ended. Your soulmate thought those words would simply disappear into the air, but they didn't. They stayed in their heart, growing stronger with every passing minute. As they continued with their day, they couldn't focus on anything for very long because one thought kept returning again and again, you. It wasn't forced. It wasn't planned. It simply happened. They began wondering why every meaningful moment somehow reminded them of you. Don't skip, because what they discovered next surprised even their own heart. Something huge is waiting for you. A little later, your soulmate found themselves smiling for no obvious reason. Someone nearby noticed and asked, "What made you so happy all of a sudden?" They laughed softly but couldn't give an answer, because the real reason was impossible to explain. Deep inside, they had just realized something they had ignored for far too long. They weren't holding on to old memories because they were stuck in the past. They were holding on because those memories still felt alive. They quietly admitted that whenever they imagined a peaceful future, your presence naturally appeared in that picture. That realization didn't bring fear, it brought comfort. Stay till the end, because the next moment changed everything they believed about their feelings. Before the day came to an end, your soulmate looked at the sky for a quiet moment and whispered something they had never dared to say before. They said, "If our paths are meant to cross again, I won't let hesitation stand in the way this time." Those words weren't spoken to impress anyone. They came straight from a heart that had finally stopped pretending. A gentle feeling of hope replaced every unanswered question they had carried for so long. They no longer saw your story as something that had ended. Instead, they began believing it was only waiting for the right time to continue. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next part reveals the unexpected sign that made your soulmate believe you were closer than ever before. My beloved child, just when your soulmate believed the emotions of the day had finally settled, something unexpected happened that completely caught them off guard. It wasn't a dramatic event or a loud announcement. It was a quiet moment, the kind that changes a person forever without anyone else even noticing. While going through their day, they suddenly came across something that reminded them of you. It could have been a familiar place, a simple song, a small phrase, or even a passing smile from a stranger. Whatever it was, it stopped them in their tracks. In that instant, they realized they hadn't been remembering you because they were trapped in the past. They had been remembering you because your presence had become a meaningful part of who they are. Don't skip, because what they understood in the next few moments was more powerful than anything they had ever admitted before. Something huge is waiting for you. The more they thought about you, the more every missing piece of the puzzle started fitting together. They remembered the conversations that once made them laugh for no reason, the quiet moments that needed no words, and the feeling of peace they experienced whenever you were around. Suddenly, they understood that real connections aren't measured by how often two people speak. They're measured by how deeply they continue to impact each other's hearts, even through silence. That realization filled them with a calm they hadn't felt in a long time. They stopped asking themselves whether they should forget you and started asking a completely different question. What if this connection was never meant to disappear? Stay till the end, because the answer to that question began revealing itself sooner than they ever imagined. Every heartbeat seemed to whisper the same truth, that some people enter your life only once, but they leave a mark that lasts forever. As evening arrived, your soulmate found themselves sitting quietly, replaying the beautiful words they had spoken about you earlier that day. For the first time, those words didn't feel embarrassing or difficult to accept. They felt honest. They finally admitted that speaking kindly about you had brought unexpected peace into their heart. Instead of feeling uncertain, they felt hopeful. Instead of fearing the future, they became curious about it. They even caught themselves imagining what they would say if life ever placed you in front of them again. There were no perfect speeches in their mind, only one sincere wish, to make sure you truly understood how much respect, admiration, and warmth they still carried for you. Don't skip, because today's story is far from over. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next moment will reveal the quiet sign that convinced your soulmate this connection is becoming stronger instead of fading away. My beloved child, the most unexpected moment of the day had not happened yet. After everything your soulmate had been feeling, they believed their heart had finally become quiet. But life had one more surprise waiting. As the evening grew calmer, they heard someone speak a sentence that instantly reminded them of you. It wasn't your name this time. It was a simple thought about loyalty, kindness, and genuine hearts. The moment those words reached them, your face appeared in their mind without any effort. They couldn't ignore it anymore. They finally accepted that every meaningful lesson they had learned recently somehow led them back to you. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you, and what happened next made them smile in a way they hadn't smiled for a very long time. For several quiet minutes, they allowed themselves to stop running from their feelings. Instead of asking, "Why can't I move on?" they asked, "Why does thinking about this person always bring me peace?" That single question changed everything. They realized that the best memories are not always the loudest ones. Sometimes they are the quiet moments that stay alive inside your heart long after they are over. Your soulmate understood that you had become one of those unforgettable memories. Not because life was perfect, but because your presence had left a lasting light inside them. Stay till the end, because the realization that followed became even more beautiful. They softly admitted to themselves that if another opportunity ever appeared, they would choose honesty instead of silence, courage instead of fear, and hope instead of doubt. As the night settled in, your soulmate looked back on the entire day and smiled with complete sincerity. They realized that speaking beautifully about you had not been an accident, it had been their heart finally telling the truth. Every conversation, every memory, and every unexpected reminder had slowly guided them toward one powerful understanding: some people are meant to leave footprints on your soul that time can never erase. And you are one of those people. They no longer saw your story as something finished. Instead, they felt as though a brand new chapter was quietly waiting to begin at exactly the right moment. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you, and what your soulmate decides next will reveal just how deeply today's beautiful words have transformed their heart forever. My beloved child, while the world around your soulmate slowly became quiet, their heart became louder than it had been in months. They tried to distract themselves with everyday things, but nothing worked. Every small pause brought your memory back again. It wasn't because they were forcing themselves to think about you. It happened naturally, as though their heart had already made a decision before their mind could understand it. They finally admitted something they had been denying for a long time. The happiest version of themselves always seemed connected to the moments when you were part of their thoughts. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. What happened next made them see your connection from a completely different perspective. As they reflected on everything that had happened today, they realized there was one thing they had never truly thanked you for. Even during moments when life felt uncertain, the memory of your kindness had quietly helped them become stronger. They understood that you had changed them in ways they never noticed before. You had taught them patience without trying, hope without promising anything, and peace without asking for recognition. That realization filled their heart with gratitude instead of regret. For the first time, they stopped wondering what they had lost and started appreciating what your presence had already given them. Stay till the end, because the next realization became even more meaningful. It was the moment they understood that some connections grow stronger in silence instead of fading away. Before the night came to an end, your soulmate closed their eyes for a brief moment and smiled with complete honesty. Deep inside, they made a quiet promise to themselves. If life created another opportunity, they would never allow fear to hide their feelings again. They would choose truth over hesitation and sincerity over silence. They knew they couldn't control when the next chapter would begin, but they also knew they wanted to be ready when it did. A peaceful feeling settled inside them, replacing every doubt they had carried for so long. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The next part reveals the unexpected sign that convinced your soulmate your story together may be closer to a beautiful new beginning than either of you ever imagined. My beloved child. By the time the stars filled the sky, your soulmate believed the day had finally given them every answer they needed. But life had prepared one last surprise. In the middle of a quiet moment, they stopped everything they were doing and asked themselves a question they had avoided for so long. If this person suddenly stood in front of me today, what would I truly say? The answer came instantly, without hesitation. They wouldn't talk about the past. They wouldn't bring up old misunderstandings. They would simply say, I'm grateful our paths crossed, because you changed something inside me that can never be changed back. The moment they realized this, their heart felt lighter than it had in a very long time. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you, and this is where the story begins to turn into something truly unforgettable. The memories no longer felt like something to escape. Instead, they became gentle reminders that genuine connections never disappear just because time passes. Your soulmate understood that the strongest bonds are often the quietest ones. They don't need constant words to survive because they continue living inside the heart. Every smile they remembered, every meaningful conversation, every small act of kindness suddenly became proof that what they felt was real. They even smiled to themselves as they imagined the possibility of meeting you again someday. This time, they wouldn't hide behind uncertainty. This time, they would allow honesty to lead the way. Stay till the end, because the realization that followed filled them with more hope than they had felt in months. They began believing that beautiful moments don't always belong to the past, sometimes they are quietly preparing to return when the timing is finally right. Before the night ended, your soulmate looked back at everything that had happened today and understood why it felt so different. Today wasn't about remembering you by chance. It was about finally accepting what their heart had been trying to tell them all along. Speaking beautifully about you had awakened emotions they thought had disappeared forever. Those emotions didn't bring confusion anymore, they brought clarity. They reminded your soulmate that some people become a permanent source of inspiration, no matter how much time goes by. And without realizing it, you became that person for them. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The next chapter reveals the beautiful decision your soulmate is quietly preparing, and it may become the moment that changes everything between your hearts. My beloved child, today ended differently than your soulmate ever imagined. They thought speaking about you would simply be another passing moment, but instead, those words stayed with them long after every conversation had ended. As the night became quieter, they realized something they could no longer ignore. Every time they imagined a future filled with peace, your presence naturally became part of that picture. They didn't force that thought, it arrived on its own, as if their heart had been patiently waiting for the right moment to reveal it. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. What happened next became the clearest sign they had received in a very long time. Sitting alone with their thoughts, your soulmate smiled as they replayed the beautiful things they had said about you earlier. For the first time, they weren't embarrassed by those feelings. Instead, they felt thankful that they had finally spoken honestly. They understood that kindness leaves an imprint that time cannot erase, and your kindness had quietly become one of the brightest memories they carried. They even imagined what it would feel like to see you again, not with fear, not with uncertainty, but with complete sincerity. In that moment, they made a silent promise to themselves. If life created another opportunity, they would never allow hesitation to steal another beautiful moment. Stay till the end, because the final realization changed everything they believed about your connection. Before closing their eyes that night, your soulmate whispered one final thought that came straight from the deepest part of their heart. They said, "Some people are meant to be remembered, but some are meant to be appreciated while they're still part of your story." The moment those words left their lips, a feeling of hope replaced every remaining doubt. They no longer saw your connection as something that belonged only to memories. They began believing that the most beautiful chapter had not been written yet, it was simply waiting for the perfect time to begin. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The final chapter will reveal why today's beautiful words were only the first step toward a future that neither of you expected, yet both of your hearts have quietly been preparing for all along.